Good morning and welcome to Michael, Luca, and Andrew's Excellent Adventure podcast. I'm very happy to be here today. We're going to discuss and talk about a lot of fun topics that we are very passionate about. The first topic that we would like to talk about, the three of us, is Iona basketball. The three of us, me, Luca, and Andrew, went to the Iona basketball game last Friday when they played against Fairfield. A very hard fought game. Iona never gave up. They played till the end. They fought really hard. And about a little over a week ago, Iona played another really, really good game. And they won, and they also won the week before. I feel like Iona's going on a very good win streak. I like what I'm seeing out of them. They always play till the end. They always complete the job. They beat Manhattan. Who did they beat? So they beat Manhattan a week ago. Who else did they beat after Manhattan, Luca?
Before Manhattan, they beat Merrimack at the Bowser.
Yes, that was Merrimack, and that was on a Thursday night.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, they beat Merrimack on a Thursday night at the buzzer. That number 30 played an incredible game. He really has had a very good stroke. And there was another kid, number 2, who is playing absolutely phenomenal. The kid couldn't miss. And I'm always saying to Luca and Andrew during the game, keep number 2 on the court because he can really shoot. And I feel like if Iona continues to keep this up, and if they continue to keep this pace up, they're looking at a very good rest of the season. Do you think if they can continue to play the way they're playing now, do you think they can make March Madness?
Yes, I do think if they keep playing how they're playing now, there's a great chance of them making it.
I definitely think that they have a good shot at making March Madness if they keep playing the way that they're playing. They're playing with a lot of heart, and even their losses are kind of like really close games, and it's entertaining basketball. It's not. It is disappointing, obviously, to lose in that kind of a way that they lost last Friday. It was I believe it was at like almost like 2 seconds, like a little bit more than 2 seconds left, and then there was a foul against Fairfield made a foul shot, and then from that point on, we never took back the lead. But my point being that most of the time, when you have a team that is losing, you need those like difficult losses sometimes to build like a team, like as far as like their morale goes, and if you have a team who's constantly losing like by a large amount of points, then they're not going to have the confidence to perform to the level of a team that belongs in the March Madness tournament. And if they are, competing in like close games, then they have a pretty good shot at it.
Absolutely, you're 100% right. And I feel like Iona shooting has gotten a lot better. And I feel like this season, compared to last season, there's a lot more close games and there's a lot more great finishes this season than last season. Like the last 3 games have been so entertaining. Like you really want to know who wins. It's back and forth the whole game. And I have to give Iona a lot of credit. They always play till the end. They never give up and they play with so much heart. And Andrew, you're 100% right. When they lose, it's like very, very close. And they really played till the very, very end the other day. And I feel like if they continue to keep up this pace and they play the way they're playing, they have a chance. They have a very good chance to make March Madness, and they have a good record now. And they play at Siena this Thursday night, and then on Saturday they play against Mount St. Mary's at home, and that should be a very good game. And now we're at the point of the season where the games are really, really important because in their conference, like there's a lot of teams that like are in the same boat as Iona, so it's good that they got to get the most amount of wins in order to try to be at the top of their conference. Now a very, very big game in American sports is on Sunday, the Super Bowl. The Patriots arrived in California yesterday, and I believe Seattle arrived yesterday. What do you think is going through the players' minds this week as they prepare for the Super Bowl, Luca and Andrew?
I think that, they're definitely thinking about how it's really going to be a big game and that, like, there's going to be like the bright lights are going to be on and there's going to be obviously, some form of pressure too.
Kind of adding on to what Luca was just saying, there is some sort of a pressure, but you also have to consider some of these players, they're veterans. Also, some of them like more so like first time being in the playoffs. first time being on a competitive team. Like you look like the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, right? He's a very, very good player, but this is the first year I believe that he is with the Seahawks and he's taking them to a Super Bowl. Right? He was with the Minnesota Vikings last season.
Yes, and had an incredible season last season. Had like 13 or 14 wins. Had a great season. And I believe he's the first player in NFL history to have 13 wins with one team and then 13 wins with a different team the following season. So he has really come a long way since he's been drafted by the New York Jets, and he has done a tremendous job building a team, and I have a lot of confidence in him.
So yeah, that exactly 100%. I agree with that. You know, you have players who, you know, he might have not started off on like the best team. And I know you're a huge fan of the Jets, but I think we could agree that they're not like the best franchise as far as like wins and losses go and like, you know, getting into the playoffs. But having that NFL experience, having that experience on the field and, you know, really being able to know what you're doing on the field uh helps in a sense to be able to perform well under pressure. And so like I feel like that's something that's very big that's going looming in his mind, you know, heading into the Super Bowl. But we'll see how the game pans out this Sunday coming up. But I'm very excited for it.
Absolutely. And I have a feeling it's going to be a very, very back and forth game, and it's going to come down to the wire. And to be honest, we've had a lot of great entertaining, great games that have come down to the wire so far for this playoffs. And it's gonna come down to who has the ball last within the last 2 minutes, and it's gonna be like a 3-point game. Like the Patriots might be ahead by three, and Darnold might get the ball with 2 minutes to go, or it might be the other way around. And it really will come down to the wire, and it's just gonna determine who will have the ball last. And whoever wins this game, like they're definitely gonna make a name for themselves. And Drake May, he's only 3 years older than us, and imagine being, 22, 23 years old and playing in the biggest stage in football. It's an incredible accomplishment. And there's got to be a lot going through his mind. And as a matter of fact, 10 years ago, I was in fourth grade. And actually, as a matter of fact, this upcoming Saturday is the 10-year anniversary of my favorite Super Bowl that I remember, Super Bowl 50, when Peyton Manning played in his final game in the NFL when he was on the Broncos, and they beat the Carolina Panthers 24-10. And Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, Aqib Talib, TJ Ward, that Broncos defense delivered a tremendous performance, and Peyton Manning went out on top. And as a matter of fact, Drake May was at that game when he was 13 years old, and he was a big Panthers fan that season. And Drake May and his dad was there at Super Bowl 50, and he watched it. And now 10 years later, he's playing in that Super Bowl. So it's very ironic. And time goes by very fast. And Drake May, he has a lot of potential. He plays with a lot of heart, and so does Sam Darnold. And this is a very evenly matched Super Bowl. Luca and Andrew, who do you believe is favored to win this game? Because I believe that I don't think either team is favored. It's both very evenly matched up. And before going into a Super Bowl, I say to myself, I have a feeling who's going to win this. I think anybody could win it. What do you guys think?
I kind of agree in a sense. Like, I know a lot of people are saying Seattle, but to be honest, like both teams could win it. Like both teams are, really have had great seasons and are playing great this year.
I kind of agree with you to a degree, Luca and Michael. Definitely, you know, you have to wait and see for the Super Bowl to actually play out. You can't predict it. That's why we play the game to begin with. But I definitely would have to take Seattle on this one, considering the Patriots' schedule this season. And I believe Drake May did have a bit of difficulty against like elite defenses, similar to Seattle's defense.
Yes, he did. And also, the two quarterbacks are two very young guys, but I have confidence in both of them, and I think it's going to be a great, great matchup. And yesterday actually was the 12-year anniversary of Super Bowl 48. I was in second grade, and that Super Bowl was very disappointing. And that's when the Seahawks defeated the Broncos 43-8, and nothing could go right for the Broncos that night. It was a terrible game, and that's the last time Seattle won a Super Bowl. And as a matter of fact, if the Patriots win this Sunday, they would be the first franchise in NFL history to win 7 Super Bowls, and they could have done it with Tom Brady, but there was a few Super Bowls where he came up short. And as a matter of fact, today is the 18-year anniversary of Super Bowl 42 when the New York Giants defeated the New England Patriots when the Patriots were undefeated, and the Patriots were winning 14-10 with 2 minutes and 39 seconds to go, and Eli Manning got the ball back, and that was his time to shine, and that was his moment, and he really delivered a championship, and he was an incredible leader. And with about a minute and 15 seconds left, he made the greatest play in NFL history. Eli got the snap, and there was like 4 or 5 Patriot defenders on him. They tugged him by the back of the shirt, but he got out of the sack. He threw it down the field at least 40 to 50 yards, and David Tyree, the guy on the Giants, went up and literally caught the football with his helmet. And then Michael Strahan said, the legendary Giants defensive end, he said a couple years later, when they made a documentary about their season, Michael Strahan said, once David Tyree made that catch, that right there let me know that we were going to win this game. For a season that has been that magical, and for a season that has had this much positive moments, we cannot lose. And then with 35 seconds, the Giants scored. Eli Manning threw it to Flexico Burress. And Eli Manning said before that drive, it might sound silly, but you'd rather be down 4 points than 3 points, because if you're down 3 points, you kind of get, you say to yourself, okay, we're not under extreme pressure, because if we get down the field, we could tie it. We still have a chance to win, but we're down 4 points. You're like, you either score a touchdown or you don't win. So he felt like he was more comfortable in that situation. And then the Giants defense delivered a tremendous performance. Michael Strahan, Antonio Pierce, Justin Tuck, Jay Alford, all those defensive players, really, Corey Webster, all those Giant defenders really, really stepped up and delivered a great performance. And the New England Patriots were 18-0 going into Super Bowl 42, and the Giants came in and upset them and did a tremendous job. And they're actually, since then, almost 20 years later, there's never been a team that has gone 18-0 and has had a chance to go 19-0. And that might not ever happen again. A team might not ever have a chance to go 19-0. The Giants really made history that day. And do you believe in the quote, defense wins championships, guys?
Yes, I do very much so believe in that quote, because if you have a great defense, then naturally you're gonna have a lot better chance of winning championships.
100%, I agree with that, and it doesn't even just apply to football. It applies to multiple other sports. I know in baseball, that's a huge thing. It doesn't matter how many runs you score. If you can't prevent the other team from scoring a ton, you're not going to win. Defense wins championships.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And there's been a lot of great defenses in Super Bowl history. And I believe the best defensive performance by a team in Super Bowl history was the 2007 Giants with Michael Strahan, that defense against the undefeated Patriots, because the 2007 Patriots, they were like legendary wide receiver Randy Moss. He had like 23 to 25 touchdown passes that season, and Tom Brady threw a record touchdown passes that season, and half of them were to Randy Moss. And the Patriots offense seemed completely unstoppable that season. And the last regular season game of the 2007 season, the Patriots were playing against the Giants, and it was a great, well-fought game. And for a good part of that game, a lot of people thought that the Giants were going to win. The Patriots ended up winning 38-35, and Eli Manning said to his team after that game, fellows, we just hung in with the best football team this season, probably the best ever step foot on the field. If we can play like that and make a few adjustments, we could go really far in the playoffs. And they beat Tampa Bay on the road. They beat Dallas at Dallas. They ended up beating Green Bay at Green Bay in the freezing cold in overtime, and they beat the undefeated Patriots. That was a great, great run. And the second best defensive, actually, this is tied for the best, is the 2015 Broncos in Super Bowl 50. Cam Newton won the MVP that year, and he had an incredible season. The Panthers only lost one game that whole regular season, and they were probably favored by a little, but during that whole game, it was a very, very good game. But for that whole game in Super Bowl 50, I said to myself, the Broncos are going to win this game. They had more power. They had a lot of, they had more heart, and they had more momentum, and they just had control of the game. and Von Miller and that whole defense really delivered a great performance. And the Panthers averaged like 30 to 40 points a game that season, and they only scored one touchdown and a field goal that came 10 points, and that was incredible. That was a really really great performance. Now we're going to talk about something that we really enjoy talking about. We really love enjoying talking about movies, and we discussed movies last night. Luca and Andrew, what was a movie you guys watched over the weekend?
We started by watching the first half of Forrest Gump.
We also watched Happy Gilmore too. Me and Luca both watched that movie together.
What did you guys think of Happy Gilmore 2?
Honestly, I thought it was a good movie, and I definitely did like it for sure. But at the same time, I liked the first one better.
I would 100% agree with Luca on that. The first one was definitely better. I do think like I knew beforehand that it wasn't going to live up to the hype. I kind of had that expectation already. So I was kind of satisfied when it came out. I believe, yeah, it was on my birthday last year when it came out. Um, it was like in the middle of summer. It was a good movie in my opinion, but like I said, the original was definitely better. The one thing that I did find kind of funny though was like how like dumb parts of it were, but like how and Happy Gilmore too, to be specific, like how Adam Sandler killed his wife by accident. And then like other little aspects like Adam Sandler's sons, those characters I thought was kind of funny the way that they portrayed them.
As a matter of fact, last summer I watched the first half of Happy Gilmore 2 and I thought it was pretty good, but I never finished it. Do you think I should go back and finish it? Do you think it's worth it?
I would say, yeah, it is worth it to go back and finish it. It is like in the first half of the movie, it is a little bit depressing, seeing how the wife died and whatnot. And like now Adam Sandler has this whole another obstacle to overcome with his drinking problem. But it really does come full circle. And like at the end of the movie, you say to yourself, like, yeah, this is a good movie. Like, and obviously it's not better than the original, but it's like, okay, at least it served a purpose. It wasn't like it was going off on a crazy tangent, and it wasn't like super, super off like the charts compared to like the original movie. Like it wasn't like it had nothing to do with the original. And there was a purpose to have that second movie, and it really feels like it kind of connects in with the first movie.
Absolutely. And okay, and I have a question for you. And I noticed this in the movie. Which NFL football player is in Happy Gilmore 2?
Travis Kelsey.
Luca and Andrew, how many years do you think Travis Kelsey has left in the NFL?
I think that he doesn't have a lot, maybe like one or two.
I would agree with Luke on that. I think maybe like 1 or 2 years left.
Um, as a matter of fact, I have a lot of respect for Travis Kelsey. I think he plays extremely hard, and I think he's a really, really tough guy. Now, here's a question. Now, in the NFL, the New England Patriots have 6 Super Bowl championships. There's another franchise that has 6 Super Bowl championships. Which franchise is that?
That is the Dallas Cowboys,
Not the Cowboys. The Cowboys have 5.
the 49ers.
49ers have 5 as well.
Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, that is correct. They won 4 with Terry Bradshaw, and Ben Roethlisberger won 2 as well. But if New England wins on Sunday, they will be the first franchise to win 7 Super Bowls. Now, and there's a very good chance that will happen. Do you guys agree?
Yes, I agree. I think there's a very good chance of that happening.
I would say there's always a chance. I definitely have to take Seattle on this one though, but I would not be surprised if New England is able to pull it off and get their 7th Super Bowl win.
I absolutely agree. And even if New England doesn't win this Sunday, within the next few years, I have a feeling they're going to be back and they're eventually going to win the 7th. Do you agree?
I agree with that.
Now we were talking before about what could possibly be a sequel to a movie that we like that has never happened. Now we were talking about great comedy movies: Step Brothers, Wedding Crashers, Old School, and Elf. But out of those 4, I believe that the best sequel that hasn't been made yet, but I think that the best sequel that would best fit those comedies would be Step Brothers, because I felt like in Wedding Crashers, the way they ended it, they didn't really set us up for a sequel. It didn't leave us off with any questions. Step Brothers, it didn't leave us off with any questions, but I believe that a sequel could work. Um, And I believe that a good idea for a sequel for Step Brothers 2 is because in the movie, you said this, Will Ferrell and John C. Riley. Will Ferrell was 39 and John C. Riley was 40, and they literally just sat at home and didn't do anything all day. But at the end of the movie, they start the Prestige Worldwide, and they have a karaoke business. I love how the dad says it at Christmas Day breakfast. He's like, Dale Brennan has the karaoke business. I love the way the dad said it, and I believe they could make a Step Brothers 2 where Will Ferrell and John C. Riley a couple years go by and they get married and have kids, and then the kids take over the Prestige Worldwide. Or what could happen is this: Will Ferrell and John C. Riley, they like go international and they go all over the world with the Prestige Worldwide. What do you guys think?
Um, no, I think that yeah, there could definitely be Step Brothers 2 for sure, and it would definitely amount to be a great movie.
What do you think, Andrew?
I definitely think there could be a Step Brothers 2. This is a suggestion I would have as for like if there were to be a Step Brothers 2. Um I don't think it's a very good suggestion, but like let's say like hypothetically they were to sell Prestige Worldwide, right? Or like they were to lose it, like almost like in Happy Gilmore 1, right? It's like he lost his grandmother's house, right? Like let's say for some reason something happens where they lose Prestige Worldwide and like the whole movie is based on like trying to get it back.
That's actually a great idea. And I have a question. Andrew, what do you think is better, Wedding Crashers or Step Brothers?
I would say it is pretty close. It is cutting it close, but I would 100% say Step Brothers. I mean, I do have a little bit of a bias towards that because I have watched Step Brothers a lot. Um, it is kind of both movies are similar in the same type of comedy. But and they're both kind of like the movies that it's like, okay, well, like I wouldn't get tired of watching this movie over and over and over again. But I would have to say Step Brothers is my favorite of those two because I have watched it a lot more and because I have a bit of a bias towards Will Ferrell and John C. Riley as actors.
I believe they're both very, very funny movies, and they're both very, very rewatchable. And I could watch both of them over and over again and not get sick of them. And there's certain scenes in Step Brothers and in Wedding Crashers that make me laugh both times, and they're just pure entertainment. They're both very, very funny. And like if I'm flipping through the channels and I see Wedding Crashers on, as soon as I see it on, I'm like, oh yes, and I put it on and it puts me in a good mood. And same thing with Step Brothers. If I'm flipping through the channels and I see it on, I put it on and I'm all into it. And I could easily watch both of them. And to be honest with you, I thought that whoever put Will Ferrell and John C. Riley together, whoever did that, that was definitely the right move because they both went very well together. Same thing in Wedding Crashers. Vince Vaughn is hysterical in that movie, and Owen Wilson was hysterical in that movie. Those two guys went really well together. Do you agree?
I would agree 100%. But you also have like movies like I don't know if you ever watched Holmes and Watson with Will Ferrell and John C. Riley.
As a matter of fact, I did, and I saw it in the movie theaters with my uncle and my brother when it came out when I was in seventh grade. And I also saw a few years ago with my uncle another great Adam Sandler movie. This one wasn't really a comedy; it was more of like a serious movie. Uncut Gems. Me and my uncle watched that. Really good movie. You keep going.
What was that movie about? Uncut Gems. I've never seen it before.
So, and actually, like going into it, I didn't really know what to expect, but Adam Sandler, he gets involved with like a jewelry heist. And it's involved with like him having a jewelry store, and there's like a lot of like scams that go on. It's actually, and the ending was like intense. It's actually a very good movie. And I agree with my uncle. Like, I believe Adam Sandler is a better actor than he is a comedian. But with regards to Uncut Gems, that's not, I wouldn't put that in like the comedy Adam Sandler category because it gets deep at times.
I got you on that. But yeah,
Holmes and Watson, you were saying.
Holmes and Watson, I was saying like you look at that movie and you look at Step Brothers. Step Brothers, a lot of people really, really like the movie. I think a lot of people would agree with us on that. But like Holmes and Watson hasn't gotten like as good of reviews as Step Brothers
Yeah.
has. And you were talking about how that dynamic of
Oh, yeah.
John C. Riley and Will Ferrell kind of like
So
coincides
funny.
very good. Would you agree that the movie Holmes and Watson was only like as good as it was, even though it didn't live up to quite as the hype that Step Brothers did. Would you agree that it was only as good as it was because of Will Ferrell and John C. Riley taking up those roles?
Holmes and Watson, I found, was very disappointing. It wasn't nearly as good as Step Brothers. I didn't laugh nearly as much during Holmes and Watson as I did in Step Brothers. And I did not find it funny. And not only did I not find it funny, it just wasn't a good movie. Like if parts of it were funny, but it wasn't a good movie, then it'd be all right. But it just wasn't a good movie. It was disappointing. But I like the scene at the end when Cal from the movie Titanic was in it. That part was funny. But other than that, it was disappointing. But what I liked was at the beginning of Step Brothers, the opening scene, there's a quote by one of the presidents. They say a quote, actual quote from this president, and then they do the same thing in Holmes and Watson, where this is a quote. It's from Hannah Montana, that TV show. That I found clever. And another thing, but here's an example: the fact that I was all into seeing Holmes and Watson, and I was excited about seeing it beforehand. The reason why was because Will Ferrell and John C. Riley were so funny and so great together in Step Brothers that I wanted to see another movie like them in it because they were so great in it. And that just goes to show you how great they were in the movie. And also another great comedy classic is the movie Old School. I watched this with my grandfather. That was and that was a funny movie. My grandfather didn't really agree, but I thought it was very funny. The movie Old School, and Vince Vaughn was also in Wedding Crashers. And in Old School, Owen Wilson's brother, Luke Wilson, is in Old School, and Vince Vaughn was in two comedy classics with both Wilson brothers. And I have to say, both Wilson brothers were very funny. And the movie, and as a matter of fact, we watched like May of when I was a senior in high school. Me and my grandparents, we watched the movie Big Daddy, and over the summer with my grandparents and my uncle, we also watched National Lampoon's European Vacation. So these are all comedy classics. Do you agree? Would you put Old School in a classic category?
I would 100% put it in a classic category. And by classic category, I mean like almost like the movies like Step Brothers and Wedding Crashers, where you watch it over and over and over and you don't get tired of it. So I'll put it in
Absolutely.
that category.
Luca, do you agree?
Yes, I do agree. Although at the same time, I don't believe I've seen Old School either.
I would definitely recommend watching it. It's very entertaining. It was very, very great chatting with you today, Luca and Andrew. We're really looking forward to meeting with you guys next week, and we will definitely discuss the Super Bowl. Thank you.